Looks like different cities and counties around the state of Texas gearing up to do battle with the state and possibly their own citizens when it comes to setting the tax rate in future budgets. Hey everyone, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. Really an issue that goes back to the last legislative session. The Texas legislature passed, and it was a very good bill, SB2, which really put a limit, not a cap, but some call it a cap, I guess, but a trigger, if you will, on cities and counties and different taxing jurisdictions that if they went over 3.5% increase from year to year in the tax rate, they'd have to go to you, the voters, and get your approval for that. Now, the counties were against this. Many cities were against this. Many locally elected officials were against this, but it passed in the legislative session. Well, there apparently was a little bit of a clause in there, a little loophole, if you will, if a county has been declared a disaster area. And we had Scott Braddock, editor of Quorum Report, on with us earlier this week talking about this very issue, that some of the counties along the Gulf Coast were actually arguing in favor of this, that if there's a hurricane or an emergency declared other than a drought, then that cap is gone. That trigger is gone, and it goes back to that 8.2%, cap, if you will, before an election actually takes place. Well, Dallas County, apparently. Dallas County, the story from the Dallas Morning News, Dallas County weighing an 8% property tax hike, the city of Dallas, weighing an 8% property tax hike as the city faces a revenue shortage. The city's chief financial officer says Dallas is facing a revenue shortfall next year that will be between $73 and $134 million. City council members will vote on a resolution to allow the Dallas County Tax Office to assess potential revenue if the city's property tax revenue grew by 8%. The legislature last year capped property tax revenue increases at 3.5%. Anything higher requires voter approval, but the law provides an exception if an area is under a disaster declaration issued by the governor. Now, going back to last week on the radio show, Governor Greg Abbott, who was asked about this in a different interview, said that is not his interpretation of it, and he didn't believe it would be the interpretation of the Attorney General. Attorney General Ken Paxton was on my show, didn't quite go that far, said his office was going to be looking into it, and then Scott Braddock reported on Tuesday on my radio show that the lieutenant governor didn't go as far as Abbott, but did say cities and counties should be wary of basically using this kind of tactic. Folks, this is something you're going to have to pay attention to across the great state of Texas. All counties in Texas were declared disaster areas, and that means if Dallas is right, if the Texas Municipal League is right, then you could see 8% increases going from county to county in order to shore up some budget shortfalls. It's going to be something to watch. It's going to be a big battle. It's going to get nasty, I think, and it's something that all Texans should watch. And really, honestly, it's to me, it's something that cities and counties should absolutely stay away from. Cities and counties went throughout the state of Texas and declared that some people were non-essential, that you had a non-essential business, that you needed to be shut down. People across this state have been hurt. People across this state have been hurt in their bank accounts. They've been laid off. They've been fired. They've had their business be shut down if they were deemed, quote unquote, non-essential. And at the same time, the city wants to come back after they pelted you the first time. They want to come back and take from you again. It's pretty disgusting to see what is going on. And Dallas should be ashamed of themselves, but I guarantee you they will not be the only ones who go to the voters and say, guess what? we're taking more money away from you guys. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. Have a great day.